Claudette Colbert seized the 7th Best Actress Oscar for It Happened One Night, defeating the write-in nominee Betty Davis in Of Human Bondage, opera star Grace Moore in One Night of Love, and perennial nominee Norma Shearer in her third nomination for The Barretts of Wimpole Street. Each woman hit a turning point this year: Betty's first foray into villainy, Grace's rise to film stardom, and Norma's leap as a serious and prestigious actress. So the question is, did Claudette really deserve her win for a romantic comedy? Betty Davis stands as one of the defining and larger-than-life actresses of the classic Hollywood era. She carved out a space for high-voltage, often unlikable women and was not afraid to abandon her beauty and glamour at a time when most actresses were compelled to be polished and sophisticated. She challenged the imposing clause of the studio system, clashed with executives, took risks others would have cowered, survived periods of diminishing returns, and forged a career that spanned for 5 decades. She was the first actress in any gender to nab double-digit nominations, eventually winning 2 for Dangerous and Jezebel. She was the first actress to be nominated for 5 consecutive years and served as the first female president of the Academy, even if she resigned after 2 months. Whether you like her or not, she is a force to be reckoned with. Her inclusion here is debatable because her omission from the official list of nominees led to a public outrage that prompted the Academy to insert her as a write-in nominee. She ended up 3rd after Claudette and Norma, even outpolling Grace, who was an official nominee. Claudette did not even bother to attend the ceremony because she suspected Betty would win. Does Betty's sensational and rule-bending performance really hold up as Oscar-worthy? It is easy to see why the audiences in 1934 were blown away by Betty. Her portrayal of Mildred Rogers, the spiteful and scheming waitress, is loud, aggressive, and impossible to ignore, a sharp contrast to the innocent and manicured ingenue roles women and Betty often played during this time. She overwhelms everyone and everything around her because the wooden Leslie Howard is too rigid. Mildred acts the way she is because she desperately wants to escape from poverty and she cannot find a man she would be compatible with. At the same time, it is hard to pin her down because she is irrational and despicable. Her motivation is clear, but her combative execution is confusing. Does she think insulting the men around her would lead them to fall in love with her? Her wipe my mouth monologue is infamous for her ferocity and intensity, but at the same time, I could not care for her and I did not buy men falling in love with her.
I was always making a fool of you. You bored me stiff. I hated you. It made me sick when I had to let you kiss me. I only did it because you begged me. You hounded me. You drove me crazy. And after you kissed me, I always used to wipe my mouth. Wipe my mouth! But I made up for it. For every kiss I had a laugh. We laughed at you. Miller and me and Griffiths and me. We laughed at you because you were such a mug.
I applaud Betty's commitment to be repellent and her thick Cockney accent, and I see how her work emboldened audiences to reconsider female villains as someone you love to hate. For all its boldness, the performance lacks emotional depth and plausibility. Grace Moore, hailed as the Tennessee Nightingale, brought her operatic background to the screen in One Night of Love as Mary Barrett, an aspiring singer who falls for a strict and demanding manager. If William Powell's work in The Thin Man is mostly defined by Nick Charles the lover, then of Nick the detective, then Grace's work is mostly defined by Mary the singer, then Mary a sprightly woman on the verge of a career breakthrough. Her bellowing soprano is commanding and piercing but never irritating, presenting Mary as someone not driven by ego nor blinded by fame and glory, but has a genuine passion for her craft and dedication to flex her musical chops. Outside the technical parts of her musicality, the relationships that are supposed to shape her journey, especially the love triangle and the repetitive training scenes, do not carry much weight. Overall, she could have been outstanding, but the weak character beats deflate her work.
I can sing without your help, and I'll prove it to you. I'm going to Howard and tell him that I'll accept that offer.
May I warn you, you're not ready for the Metropolitan.
You'll read about it in the newspapers.
By this point, Norma Shearer's proclivity toward romantic melodrama tires me, but she won me over when she finally entered the superstar phase of her career as Elizabeth Barrett in the stagey family biopic The Barretts of Wimpole Street. Elizabeth is a sheltered, affluent poet, weakened by her illness and constrained by her oppressive father. Since Elizabeth mostly sits and lies on her chair or sofa, most of the acting is done by Norma's face. Norma occasionally overdoes Elizabeth's innocence by acting as if she were a schoolgirl, while tilting her head or clasping her hands, but her eye contact and facial expressions convey an ocean of emotions, painting Elizabeth as a dreamer and longing for freedom. She finds warmth from her siblings and lover, Robert Browning, played by the always reliable Frederick March. She also balances her presence, holding the film together while also letting her co-stars shine from time to time. Plus, she sings nicely, and while she is no showstopper, bonus points for that. That said, Norma does not quite reach the highest heights of acting, especially when Elizabeth interacts with Charles Laughton's Edward Barrett. She delineates Elizabeth's timidity, terror, and hidden rebelliousness whenever she is around him. She is explosive when she fights back to claim her individuality and independence.
You might have had the love of all your children, but instead you have fear. Fear and hatred.
Elizabeth!
Hatred, I tell you, hatred, and mine too, hatred.
It will be hard for me to forget what you have said. I shall leave you under my extreme displeasure. When you have repented your wickedness and are ready to ask for God's forgiveness and mine, you may send for me.
And expresses her awkwardness to her father's incestuous desire for her. The film's controversial twist calls for Norma to excavate her anger, disgust, and shame, but she unfortunately surrenders to melodramatic histrionics. Even so, these minor issues do not detract how much I salute Norma's improvement and like her performance. There are some years when actors or actresses reach the peak of their career by starring in multiple films offering diversity and versatility, delivering a career-defining work, or when everything in their personal and professional life works in their favor. The year 1934 indisputably belonged to Claudette Colbert. She won her first and only Oscar for It Happened One Night and appeared in 2 Best Picture Oscar nominees, Cleopatra and Imitation of Life. Like Clark Gable, Claudette Colbert also easily wins by a landslide despite the heated competition and the fan outrage on behalf of Betty's Right in nomination. Claudette has the advantage of having the best character and arc in the best film of the year. Her performance is perfect because she unpacks Ellie's self-awareness and completes her evolution, tapping into her usual brand of dry sarcasm and unveiling a spoiled but misunderstood and directionless soul who wants to unshackle herself from the restrictions of her wealthy family. Once Ellie crosses paths with Clark's Peter Warren, she metamorphoses into a humble, resourceful, and compassionate woman. All her life, she has been taught who to be, what to eat, what to do, and who to marry. She has her moments of independence, but she realizes she is not the tough and autonomous woman she thinks she is. The strength she imbues to the public is a masquerade for an unhappy and confused woman obscured beneath. Her growth is beautiful to watch as she embraces the spontaneity around her and discreetly influences her father to appreciate what they have. She blossoms from her experiences and accepts her new self on her own terms. This way, It Happened One Night is not only about 2 people falling in love, but also Ellie's maturation and reorganization of her relationship with her father. Claudette humanizes Ellie, completes her arc with believability and sincerity, and has a pleasant and matured chemistry with Clark, making Ellie's relationship with Peter a rootable one, and Claudette's performance the first in her category to receive a perfect grade.
What are you going to do?
It's a system all my own.